Tonight's episode is brought to you by Rush Fly-By-Night Delivery. When you absolutely positively have to have it there by Elimination Chamber, you need Rush Fly-By-Night Delivery. Tonight on Ramblers Unleashed, what is the Baron's reaction to Liv choosing to face the Devil's Kiss? Why is Max taking issue with TKO WWE? All this and more next on Ramblers Unleashed.
This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Welcome to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast for news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and tonight with NJPW. Let's get the Ramblers introduced. Up first, the man who is higher than a jet airliner and whose signature catchphrase is and always will be
420.
420. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for the Baron.
Oh, thank you all. Thank you all out there. I appreciate that.
So instead of asking you how you are tonight, I'm going to ask you, what's your reaction to Liv choosing to face the Devil's Kiss at WrestleMania?
Is it allowed to be said on air here? I mean, it's great. This match is going to be really weird, right? I feel like Liv going in was a good, clear winner. This match, I'm not thinking that's going to happen. I still feel like there's a small chance that someone else ends up in this match to where it's not a singles match. I still feel like that's going to happen.
We'll find out Saturday night if you're right or not.
Well, you know, I'm always right about my picks.
Well, okay, we can go with that. But my point is, we'll find out Saturday night if it looks like this is going to be a triple threat match or not. Because it depends on who wins the Women's Elimination Chamber, which, yes, we will be talking about Elimination Chamber. And later tonight, at the end of the show, we will do our picks. Liv's not on the card, though, so I cannot begin to predict what Baron's going to say his picks are for tonight.
Yeah, I don't know who to pick. I don't know who's in the match. I've done forgot. So I'm glad you're going to give me a refresher.
We are going to do a refresher early on the show, and then at the end of the show, I will go over each match as we do our picks. So that way I don't have to worry about you forgetting before we do picks. So, all right, guys, up next, the other member of the Ramblers crew. For without you, we'd just be a couple of idiots talking to each other on a video call. Why don't you give it up for yourselves over there in the chat? Did you mute yourself for that?
Yeah, I didn't want the round of applause to be too loud for everyone out there. Sean, we appreciate you out there and all the other viewers that end up coming out here. And obviously, you know, I'm not the man that gives out introductions. And I think we're at the point in the juncture of the show that none of us need an introduction outside of our fans in the chat, right? And to my left here, or whichever way we're looking, we all know who this wonderful human being is. Max Mages.
Speaking of the gamer who doesn't remember to unmute his mic, Styles is in the chat right now. So, hey, I guess that kind of worked out.
I know, that was my cue. I seen him in there. I was like, oh, let me throw his name in there. Dude, yeah, so much happened over the weekend. And Monday, there's a shit ton to talk about, dude.
I mean, listen, there are quite a few stories that I found that we need to talk about. I have one that's a little bit of a fluff piece. It does involve Kelly, but I think it's something to talk about. I mean, it's about Kelly. It's about 2K26, so I thought, why not? But I think that the most important story that's come out this weekend, and it's going to be our first story. It's also going to be from the desk of Max Magus, but I'm going to include the thoughts of our viewers that they gave me over in Discord, which is actually what led to me putting this in as the first story tonight. And I'm also going to get thoughts from the Baron. So let's get right into our first story. This comes to us from yahoo.com. WWE enforces a 50-mile blackout for Elimination Chamber while 2,100 tickets remain unsold. For decades, the neighborhood bar watch party has been a cornerstone of wrestling fandom. It's where casual fans become hardcore ones, where strangers bond over a big spot, and where the business grows its base organically. WWE just decided that tradition is worth less than a few thousand extra ticket sales. The Elimination Chamber blackout in Chicago follows the same 50-mile radius policy WWE imposed on WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas, and is generating the same backlash. With more than 2,100 tickets still available heading into the show week, the policy isn't just tone deaf. The numbers suggest it isn't even working. According to Fightful Select, WWE is blocking commercial establishments within 50 miles of the United Center from airing Elimination Chamber on February 28th, even if those businesses are willing to pay the required licensing fee. WrestleTix confirmed that 14,895 of 17,016 available tickets have been distributed, leaving a significant chunk of the arena empty heading into show week. This is the same playbook WWE ran in Las Vegas for WrestleMania 42, where businesses within 50 miles of Allegiant Stadium were shut out of hosting watch parties. That move frustrated local venues that had already begun promoting events. Now Chicago is getting the same treatment. And this is the point that we've all been making for months now. The ticket prices aren't helping. It doesn't take a deep dive to understand why seats are sitting unsold. Through Ticketmaster, the cheapest available ticket runs $261.05 in the upper level, while premium floor seats top out at $1905.25. As we've covered, WWE has been aggressively testing fan spending limits all WrestleMania season, and Elimination Chamber is no exception. It's a squeeze play, and fans are noticing. The policy has already failed elsewhere. Awful announcing, that's the name of a show. That is not a description, for the record. Awful announcing drew a sharp comparison to the NFL's old local blackout policy, which barred home market broadcasts of games that failed to sell out. The league quietly shelved that rule a decade ago because it was alienating fans faster than it was selling tickets. WWE appears to be learning that lesson the hard way. Doing this for WrestleMania is questionable enough. Applying it to a premium live event outside the traditional Big 4 or 5 is an easy call to label as an inexcusable cash grab, especially when the empty seats prove it isn't working. Fans have options WWE would rather you forget. There are other ways to watch, of course. Fans can subscribe to the ESPN Unlimited app for $29.99 per month, and those with a longer memory might recall that Stephanie McMahon herself once cut a podcast ad encouraging viewers to use a VPN to access WWE on Canadian Netflix, bypassing the ESPN paywall entirely. And you know what? We love Steph for that. WWE is risking more than empty seats. WWE has made it crystal clear that maximizing revenue is the top priority. What the process should be more focused on is the goodwill it's burning in the process. Check out the full Elimination Chamber card, participant list, then ask yourself how much longer fans are going to put up with it. Push them far enough and they'll find something else to watch, and WWE will have nobody but to blame but themselves. Now, when I wrote up mine from the desk of Max Magus, I thought they were also blacking it out for individual subscribers at home, but I will navigate that when I get to it. We talk a lot on the show about how TKO and WWE are pricing out fans who have stuck by them for years. Let's be honest, this is TKO. WWE is just allowing it to happen. I am of the opinion that they are taking it too far now. Blacking out the show in a 50-mile radius means that a lot of fans might actually miss Elimination Chamber and even Mania for those in Vegas live because they can't afford tickets to the shows, and they won't be able to drive outside that 50-mile radius to watch it elsewhere. And not everybody can afford that $30 for ESPN. That's if they could even find a good place. And I'll be honest, streaming services are cracking down on what they consider password sharing. If you log on from something that isn't your normal IP, it sometimes changes the content you get. I was having lunch at one of my sites one day. I was maybe 2 miles from my house. I pulled the mouse. I pulled up the mouse app to watch a show I was working on. It said, "Oh, looks like you're away from home. The content you have access to may be different." Sure enough, the show I was watching was not available, and I had to log into a different but connected service to continue watching. This also isn't working the way they want. From my understanding, the whole idea was to encourage more people to buy tickets, and I hear there's no discernible difference on that front. This is what's being said in our Discord on this subject. Yes, guys, I am quoting you all live on air tonight. I hope you're okay with that. We'll start with Sean, who says, lower the damn prices and maybe people would go again. Normally, I would be heading for Chicago this week for the PLE, but not for those prices. Dusty says, I know, right? I was telling Max last night, a buddy of mine, buddy of my family took his kids to a WWE house show in Lubbock, $200 plus for each seat for floor seats. CM Styles had an opinion. It's a little weird. I don't know why we're talking about Splinter Boy, but all right. I think it's absolute bullshit. WWE is blacking out a 50-mile radius for bars, venues to do gatherings for those pay-per-views. They feel that these locations will make more money than they should, like a cover charge kind of deal. Either way, WWE TKO is really dropping the ball by doing this. Fans want to watch the show, and they're being ousted by the promotion. Even if there was some kind of small fee they could pay the WWE for hosting their event, so be it. But if that's not the case and they don't want them doing it at all, I wouldn't promote. And I tell those who are in that venue not to promote the location via social media so they don't get some kind of fine. As a longtime wrestling fan, especially WWE, it's sad to see WWE doing yet another heinous act like they do during the week of Mania, where they don't want promotions nearby hosting their own shows in the same town as them to overshow their grandest show of all. For that, I say, fuck the WWE, because I've lost all love for the brand in every way possible. And one day they'll learn they need us fans more than we need them. Styles went on to say, the only way they can fix this is 1 week with Liv Morgan, just for Baron's sake. And we at Ramblers Unleashed cannot agree with that statement more. Dusty says, I've never seen any point in the blackout rule. Don't like it in MLB, NFL, NHL. It's basically telling people that if they want to see it, they pay the overpriced tickets. And I would also like to make one other point that we have talked about on the show. Styles actually called the arena when Raw was... Sorry, Sean. I didn't warn anybody either, so hey. Styles actually called the arena when the show was, when Raw was out near him, to try and get veterans seats, something the WWE's always done, and was informed that the WWE hadn't set aside any tickets for the veteran seats. And listen, I'll sit here all day and I'll bitch about this blackout rule because I think it's stupid. People gather at the bars to watch this. I agree with the thought, well, maybe you should charge a fee to each venue, okay? I don't agree with it, but charge a fee. Let the venue still air it so that they can get some business, and your show is being broadcast. It's reaching more people. But I do think it's ridiculous that you got rid of a time-honored tradition. You got rid of letting people like our boy Styles, who is a veteran that earned that status the hard way. You're denying them the tickets that you've always given to that status. I'm not saying give free or discounted tickets to everybody, but you should at least still give it to the veterans. You should let the venues air the PLEs as they always have. There was a time when it was a pay-per-view and they would charge a cover charge so that they could cover the cost of that pay-per-view, because I don't know if you know this. Business accounts for cable cost more. And that includes if you order a pay-per-view. We were getting it for what, $50, $60 back in the day? Businesses paid more because they had more people in the building, so it was a business account. So they had to pay a higher price, like $250 or something, to air a pay-per-view in a bar or other venue setting like that. So And why can't we go back to that for bars and restaurants and places of that nature that want to air it? I think that that would be a great idea. At the end of the day, I think this is a bad business move. When you alienate the people that enjoy the product, you reduce sales, not increase them. The Colorado Renaissance Festival may be about to learn that the hard way this summer. The people currently in charge have chosen not to bring back Celtic Legacy this year. Celtic Legacy has long been one of the most popular performances at Colorado Renaissance Festival. When they announced that they weren't bringing Celtic Legacy this year, fairgoers across Colorado commented against this plan. CRF took that post down. All subsequent comments on the subject have been getting deleted. Even another group on Facebook that is associated but separate has been deleting the comments. Economics 101. If you want to make money, don't ostracize the people who spend that money. Now, a Ren Fair is a little different than a pro wrestling show, PLE, but the principle stands. Wrestling fans want a show they can enjoy and afford. Ren Fair goers want shows they can enjoy, and they want to be able to afford to get in to see them. The minute you push the people away that are spending the money, you lose the money. Baron?
Fantastic, Max. Fantastic. How do I say this without Obviously we know that literally every single thing currently where we live in the United States is ultra fucking expensive. And if anybody wants to argue that, meet me on the sidebar. We can have the conversation. But like the pudding is there. It's everything's more expensive than it has been for quite some time. And wrestling tickets do not surprise me whatsoever that they are. And the thing is, though, is people are still going to these events, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what was the number you said? How many short tickets they have for this show?
Like 2,100 tickets approximately.
And what's the venue size? Roughly, probably 10K, we'll say.
They opened up 17,000 seats for this.
17,000?
Yeah. Let me scroll up here on the article. Blah, blah, blah. 17,016 tickets were available. 14,895 have sold. So we're looking at approximately 2,120 tickets.
Okay, well, I mean, that's not really that bad, but
No,
14,000 still being sold. See, that's the problem. That's the point I'm trying to make here. A large portion of people are still buying those tickets. So is TKO forced to change their ticket prices because 2,000 haven't been sold yet? Or do we run a flash sale of 25 to 30% off on those tickets? I mean, that's business 101, right? If people are still buying the seats at that price at a high rate, because the turnover rate here, they're not losing money by losing 2,000 people. Would they want it sold out? Absolutely. Who doesn't? But there's still 14,000 people going to this event. So by default, TKO is not going to lower the pricing. Now, when Mania comes around and you see a shit ton of people not able to go to Mania, because I'm not sure how anybody can afford going to Mania in Vegas at this point, right? Like, so that's my thing is people are still buying those tickets, so they're not forced to have to truly change their pricing. And I think that's where, as human beings, we need a group to fuck together and wrestling fans and fight the fucking power so they can. You know, what it's losing is the diehard wrestling fans. That's what it's losing. That's what's going to hurt the core the most, right? Your average family, your average, person is going to go buy those tickets because they know no better. Wrestling fans like ourselves, we've been watching for 30 years, attending events for 30 years. So we know what the ticket prices used to be versus now. So, we're a little bit put off by that. But, I mean, if 14,000 people are still buying tickets, fuck, they ain't going to change that shit anytime soon. Do I find it to be bullshit? Absolutely. But I also find it bullshit that the people continue to go spend $600 to $800, as I'm a hypocrite because I literally just did last year.
I mean, sure, but I'm looking at section A4, row 2, seats 15 and 14 for WrestleMania. And I can't tell if these seats are together for this price or if they're available individually, but it's an elite VIP package deal. And actually, this is one of the rows that gets the commemorative WWE WrestleMania chair. And you'll be able to take it home after. But if I'm reading this correctly, the tickets, each ticket here is, let's click this, see what this pulls up. So it looks like together. So they're $23,000 a piece. It's $46,219.20 for these two seats in section A4, row 2. Basically 50-yard line seats, second row back. You're right there by the ring. This is basically right behind green shirt guy.
The follow-up question, though, is, are those the only two seats available? Are all the other ones been bought?
In that section, yes. I'm still seeing quite a few seats in sections around, and I haven't even gotten up to the upper levels where there's more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we all know it's way too expensive. We talked about it for months upon months about how these ticket prices are. The blackout thing, I just don't understand how that's even possible for someone to do. If a bar was to own ESPN, what's stopping them from playing that, right?
I think because it's a business account, ESPN is set up to block business accounts within a certain radius.
I mean, I think that's stupid on their part. I don't even know how you could do that type of shit. What if I live less than 20 miles away from the venue? Would they black me out, or would it just be like businesses?
From the way the article sounds, it sounds like it's just businesses.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit harder than that article is leading on. I don't think you could just do that, especially from people that are paying for the paid service.
All right, let's see.
What the fuck do they want to do? Just black it out and then hopefully they go buy tickets or not watch the product?
I think that's the plan.
I think that's the goofiest thing I've ever heard. That's so dumb. Doesn't even make sense. But it's on cue to everything else that happens. I think the big question we ask here, obviously we know ticket prices are hindering people going to events and enjoying it, right? But is that the biggest reason? Is it the booking? Does booking have... I mean, we don't have the faces on the show anymore. I think John Cena held that for the last year, selling tickets. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there's a mixture of both. Yeah, tickets we all know are way too fucking much. But I feel like the booking has also been very lackluster, and I don't feel like they have enough big ticket drawing stars outside of Roman.
And I won't lie, I think that the booking for Chamber is playing a part in that. We're going to talk about that here momentarily. We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber card momentarily, but the card isn't necessarily helping. I also think that what it looks like is about to happen for Mania is probably not helping, but we'll get to that here in a few minutes too. That's not title related. That's another mini rant that I'm about to go on. I'm looking at Allegiant Stadium. You have your typical floor level, your upper level, and then your like nosebleed. And then there's this section like right down here on the map that's at the bottom that's higher up than the rest. The farthest back seats that I found are row 10 up in section 442, seats 9 and 10, $705.96 per ticket for those two that are up there. I don't understand. I know this is a big deal event, but I don't think that you're, especially with the conversation we're having about the booking that's going on, I don't think your product is worth as much as you're charging for these seats. That's my opinion.
That's the point I want to make here too. Is I don't think the current product is. I mean, we give AEW slack when it's there. We give TNA shit when it's there. You know, booking wise, I mean, you have to do it with WWE too, and I think a big part of it is the limited matches they've had on cards. 4 matches is not enough to do anything, right?
Well, yes and no, but I feel like we're going to have a 5th match this week, and we'll talk about that when we go over the card. But I think there's actually going to be a 5th match on Elimination Chamber this
The actual
weekend.
card, or we're talking maybe pre-show?
I think it's going to be on the actual card. Listen, would you put Gunther on the pre-show?
With who he has facing? Yeah.
I wouldn't put Gunther
Wouldn't
on
put
the
it past
pre-show.
them.
Unless you have him out there facing Brooklyn Brawler, I'm not putting Gunther on the pre-show. That's
I would hope not.
Yeah, Gunther does not belong on the pre-show. If he's facing a Brooklyn Brawler type, sure, but we're talking Dragon Lee, who was recently one half of the tag champs with AJ Styles. So I just don't see that being a pre-show match. But we'll come back to that here in a moment. Let's talk about what we do know so far for Elimination Chamber. So let's start with right now. Let's start with the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. We have Becky Lynch, who has been increasingly unhinged as of late. If you haven't been watching her promos, check them out. I'm sorry, I'm enjoying her total meltdown that she's pulling off with her promos. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great the level that she's achieving with this. I'm so excited to see where this goes. But as part of her meltdown, she has promised to destroy AJ Lee in front of her family and friends in Chicago. And I think it's great that we have AJ Lee challenging for a singles title. The way she tricked Becky into agreeing to this match was actually quite genius. I actually told my nephew that if he watched nothing else from Raw that night, he needed to go back and watch this exchange where Becky agreed to put her title on the line against AJ in Chicago. So yeah, that's the first match we have here. Becky Lynch, AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The other singles match we currently have on the card is for the World Heavyweight Championship. There's a lot of conversation about how this is jeopardizing the main event at WrestleMania. I don't agree with that. CM Punk is your champion going into this match. He's putting his title on the line against Finn Balor. I don't care which one of them makes it to Mania to face Roman Reigns. I think it's going to be a damn good match either way. Both of these men can put on one hell of a match with Roman, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think that it doesn't matter who wins this match. Spoiler alert, my pick for later is going to be Punk retaining, but I don't think it matters. Either one of these men can have a great main event match with Roman Reigns, and that's what really matters, right? Our women's Elimination Chamber match representing SmackDown, we have Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, and Kiana James.
Yes.
That feels a little weird to me. I mean, I'm all for boosting the newer talent, as you'll see when we get to the men's, and how excited I am for one of the members of that match. But I just don't feel like Kiana James has done enough on the main roster to even have been in a qualifier for this, in my opinion. Somebody that I was reading either on Facebook or in an article the last few days had pointed out that she's been the lackey to the Women's United States champion. She's really not done much to stand on her own, and yet here she is in the Elimination Chamber and we're supposed to take that seriously. I like Kiana James. I do. I want good things for her. I think she's talented, but I don't think you put the work in to put her in this position. I really don't. And I get it. She's a sacrificial lamb, basically, in the match, or at least that's what we're supposed to think, right? I mean, that seems obvious.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think she's definitely proved herself. You know, definitely has improved. She's always been close to whether it's Money in the Bank match, title match, or whatever the case may be. She's been very close, and how she won that qualifying match was pretty dope. It was very unexpected, and I think that's what they went for here for that shock factor. I think she'll be good in that match. I don't think she's a contender to win this match by any means. I think this match is laid out pretty clear cut on who's winning. So, we're just throwing some names in there.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, let me put it this way. It depends on what your plan is going forward from this. Let me cover Raw first before I say that. On the Raw side of this Elimination Chamber match, you have Rhea Ripley, you have Asuka, and you have Raquel Rodriguez. Now, it depends on what your plans for Mania are as to which way you're going to go with this match. Do you put Tiffy over now that she's back because that's the most obvious one to have win to go after Jade Cargill? Or do you do what Baron thinks is going to happen, which I'm not judging it. I actually think it's a pretty decent idea considering that what we've been seeing in the stories. Do you have Raquel Rodriguez win this and decide it's a triple threat match with her, Liv, and Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania? That is a very compelling story, in my opinion, and I think that would be a great way to tell the story. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Unless we see real fractures in the relationship between Liv and Raquel, I mean, like real fractures, not that momentary tension when Raquel came out and said, hey, why'd you eliminate me? Unless we see real tension in their relationship between now and Mania, I'm pretty sure Steph will retain at WrestleMania. But that could be a very compelling storyline, in my opinion. Or the WWE could take the easy way out and just say, okay, we need a contender for Jade. We're going to put Tiffany over. I could go either way on this. I would rather do the compelling storyline with Raquel Rodriguez winning and going against Liv and Stephanie Vaquer. But we'll have to see. And the men's. And we will talk more about what's happening with the men's Elimination Chamber later in the show. I actually have something to discuss on this as we get a little further in. For the SmackDown side, we have Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams. For the Raw side, we have, LA Knight. We have your boy Bouncy. That's the one I'm most excited about. He's not winning, but he's the one I'm most excited about. And we have Jey Uso. I personally believe, and we'll discuss this more later, that Jey Uso was not originally meant to be the sixth member of this match. I think it was meant for somebody else. We will discuss that later in the show, though. I have a full story that's going to cover that. So, there's your reminder, Baron. That's our matches. Oh, I think we're going to have a fifth. Gunther versus Dragon Lee. After what we saw last night on Raw, I have a feeling that match will be announced Saturday in Chicago.
It'll be announced for a Saturday night's main event. It ain't making it to the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, now you're going to make me look it up. Thanks a lot.
No, I'm just saying that, that match will happen. That is just not going to happen in Elimination Chamber. I think they stick with this four-match format shit. That's been their theme with these smaller PLEs, and I think they're probably going to stick with that. Elimination Chamber always has 4 matches. They do not ever go over 4. It's a possibility, but I have a feeling that match will be announced for like a Saturday night's main event.
They have not announced the date for the next Saturday night's main event. Originally, the plan was once a quarter. So, like, we just had one in January. So the next one would be April, May, or June. The next one would fall sometime during July, August, September. And then the next one would fall sometime during October, November, December.
I feel like they have them a lot more than that. Once a quarter. I don't know. I feel like they happen like fucking bi-weekly anymore.
November, July, May, January. They only had 4 last year, one in January, one in May, one in July, and one in November. What made it feel so fast was we did Saturday night's main event in November, followed by Survivor Series, and then in January we just had another Saturday night's main event, but everything between the November Saturday night's main event and the January one, we had a packed schedule. We had a whole lot of wrestling going on in that time, so it felt like it was closer together than that.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you know, me and Time don't get along too well out there.
Because he got high.
Shout out to the Bone Man out there in the chat. Much love out there, bro.
What?
The Bone Man.
J-Bone.
The Boner. The Sir Boner.
Bonehead.
Sir Bone a lot.
I mean, love you. All right.
But yeah. Anyways, I feel like they have them a lot more. I could be totally off on that. It just feels like it. I do know for certainty Elimination Chamber is 4 matches most times, right? Like it always seems to be. Something tells me that's where they're going to keep it. Be interesting. I think they could give, you know, we'll talk about it more when we get down to our predictions and stuff, and we can talk about that match. But I feel like they could actually give something to Dragon Lee here. And this would be a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I think they should add that 5th match. But you're right. They most likely won't, which means we're going to see it at WrestleMania. And that kind of leads me to my next story. Let's talk about the Heyman-Lesnar promo from last night. What I want to know is, why are we making such a big deal about Lesnar's Mania achievements? He's 6-6. Taker was 21-0 when Brock beat him. His final record at Mania was 25-2. Brock is average at Mania by all metrics. Yet we had Heyman cutting a promo claiming that since he defeated Taker and the undefeated streak, Lesnar is new reigning king of Mania and will be issuing an open challenge for anyone to face him this year. Our next story does come to us from Cage Side Seats. Brock Lesnar open challenge for WrestleMania. Sure. And I love the snarkiness in all this. This is certainly one of the ideas of all time from WWE. When WWE announced Brock Lesnar would be returning to television on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, there was little doubt what he would be back for, to figure out who he would be wrestling at WrestleMania 42 come April in Las Vegas, Nevada. We still don't know. That's because they didn't actually make it clear through Paul Heyman's relatively brief promo in Atlanta. Instead, he simply laid out the reason Lesnar is one of the most important figures in the industry still to this day. He broke Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania, you'll remember, and why everyone should want to go up against him in a match at the biggest show of the year. But when they were walking through the locker room, they couldn't find any takers. So they're doing an open challenge from now until the big event, even giving out the dates Lesnar will be appearing on television in the lead up to Mania. At this point during that time, someone can step up and accept. At any point during that time, someone can step up and accept the challenge. Obafemi seems like a clear choice to the person that wrote the article, and they ran a segment featuring the man himself just before Lesnar's appearance, but he's got business to handle with Rusev first. Gunther is also out there as a compelling potential option. Who do you think it will be? So, first off, I don't think we're going to see Gunther Brock until SummerSlam. I wouldn't mind seeing at Mania. Let's get Brock's retirement out of the way early. I'm good with that.
I will second that.
The two names that I have been hearing the most for the last 24 hours are Obafemi, of course, because they have beef from the Royal Rumble, and they're both big guys. And the other one's LA Knight. And a buddy of mine posted on Facebook earlier that he's glad they did not hit the LA Knight music during that challenge because he doesn't think this is the right choice for Brock's Mania opponent. And here's my thing. They might still go with LA Knight, but they're not going to announce it until after Elimination Chamber because he's in the chamber. And they still want to present that illusion that LA Knight might actually win the chamber. I don't think he's gonna. Spoiler alert. In fact, I think it's probably going to be Randy Orton or Cody Rhodes winning the Elimination Chamber. That's where I'm at. Is it's probably going to be one of those two. Since Drew needs an opponent, I think that's where we're at. But they want the illusion that maybe LA Knight wins the Elimination Chamber. That way, you have that option of saying, well, once he loses, he can go, you know what? I'm not in the main event. You have an open challenge. Yeah. Even then, though, I hope that's not the route they go. I think Oba's a better choice, but I don't agree with that because I don't think you need to start Oba out with a loss at WrestleMania. And come on, the amount of control that Lesnar exerts, he's kind of the Hogan of the modern era when it comes to, yeah, I'm not losing to that guy. I'm going to win this match.
Yeah, but I mean, some of his matches make sense for him not to ever lose, right? Like when you pair up someone like Cody Rhodes versus you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you pair Obafemi against Brock Lesnar, you can make the case excuse me, that there's a great opportunity for Oba to win this match. I don't think LA Knight. I want to see nothing. I want to see him nowhere near Brock Lesnar. I don't want any involvement. I think that's a squash. I think that is a match. If Brock has say, Brock is going to say, "I'm not putting that guy over." Now,
I agree.
Oba is a guy that I think Brock would get behind on putting over. Right? I think that's going to be a clear match for Mania. I'm all for that. I think it would be a fucking JR would say a slobber knocker, and I'm down for that, right?
The Battle of the Beefcake.
Yeah, I really hope LA Knight is not a choice for this match. I think that is, and if he doesn't, not that I'm making a prediction, that's who I want is going to win. If he doesn't win this Elimination Chamber, I am not sure what they do with him anymore. He is at that level to be a star, if not a star, mega star in WWE. They have pulled him back further and further, whether he's injured, whether he's having to put in somebody else over, another storyline gets involved. He's just a guy that is going to get stuck, and he's not going to be able to go any further in the company. I think we're already there, sadly.
Okay. So I don't know if this came from Unreal or if it came from somewhere else, but I was talking to Rowdy about this a couple weeks ago. And while he is very over with the fans and he's getting the pops and the crowd's connecting with them, while all that is happening, the understanding is that he's not hitting the marks that they're giving him. They're telling him, we need you to do this, this, and this. It'll get you over, and then we can advance you through. And as long as he's not following instructions and hitting the marks they're giving him, they're not going to pull the trigger on him. Now, I don't know how true that is. If it came from Unreal, it might be true. It might not be. I honestly, I'm not sure. But if that's what's holding him back, then somebody really needs to pull him to the side and say, hey, do you want this or not? Because if you want it, we want to give it to you, but you really need to do it this way. If you don't really want it, we need to figure another path out, because right now, keeping you in this limelight isn't working if you're not going to follow instructions so that we can pull the trigger. And that's kind of where I stand right now on that. So,
But what do you think he's missing the mark on?
I don't know. Like I said, this is coming from apparently the WWE says he is missing the marks that they're putting for him. I don't know what he's not doing that they want him to do, but he needs to figure it out if he wants them to pull the trigger on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like he hits all the marks that a wrestler should be hitting. He's decent in the ring. He's got the mic. He's got the fans. He's believable in the ring. He's not cheesy like a Jey Uso. I thought the yeet thing was the most cheesiest, dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen. I just don't, like I said, I don't know. Let's say he doesn't win Chamber. He's not a clear cut for Brock Lesnar. Then where does he go? Right? Like what is his Mania path? Match with Dragon Lee.
I'm not sure he has one.
Yeah, I mean that's the scary thing. I think this is like Chamber match is in my mind that is going to be where his pathway happens, meaning like we know what his future holds. If he wins, it's bright. I think if he loses, there's no chance he's facing Brock. I think that Oba and Brock is pretty much cemented after what happened in Royal Rumble. So
I'm hoping, but we'll see what happens. Now we need to talk about AJ Styles. I mean, he is right there. See, right.
Wait, just a second here.
No, that's me.
Oh, wait, that's not me. Hold on now. Hold on.
Yeah, there he is. There's the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. I might be alone, but I feel like despite the announcement at the end of Raw, they crapped on AJ all night. I could be wrong. They opened the show with Graves and Cole in the ring to talk about AJ, and then Gunther erupts. So they get Gunther out of there after his brawl with Dragon Lee. Cody Rhodes comes out, and he starts to talk about AJ. And the Vision interrupts. And then if that wasn't enough, we saw lots of faces from AJ's past. The Good Brothers were in the building. Frankie Kazarian and Abyss. I know, Chris Park is a producer. I get that. Abyss is not. We've never seen Abyss on WWE TV. In fact, we've barely seen Chris Park backstage. We don't see a lot of him, but this was Abyss. Frankie walked in, stopped at the boiler room, opened the door, and there was Abyss, and he said, come on, let's go. And they walked away together. Jeremy Borash was there. P.D. Williams. Rockstar Spud. I didn't see his name listed anywhere, but he was there. Saw was the key word. None of them got to say anything either. I felt it was kind of disrespectful that nobody got a word in edgewise about, except Punk. Nobody really interrupted Punk. I thought, okay, that's cool. They let Punk speak his piece. But then at the end of the show, everyone came out. They're all stretched out on the top of the ramp, which I thought was really cool because even the TNA guys were standing there with them. Triple H was out there. They were all applauding AJ. And then, boom. And then we went into the American Badass music. And here comes Taker on the motorcycle. Because, they can't have him walk down to the ring anymore. Because the gimmick was actually real. It really took him that long to walk to the ring. And now that he's older, it's going to take him longer. So you had to do the American Badass to have him drive down to the ring. He gets in the ring. He tells AJ, we have unfinished business. And our next story comes from WWE.com. AJ Styles receives his WWE Hall of Fame induction news from The Undertaker. As announced by WWE Hall of Famer The Undertaker, AJ Styles will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as a member of the class of 2026. Styles bid the WWE Universe farewell in his home state of Georgia when the dead man arrived on the scene and delivered the special news to Styles in front of his family. As a former two-time WWE champion, Grand Slam champion, and an iconic list of rivalries that includes the likes of John Cena, Roman Reigns, The Undertaker, I don't know why they didn't include him on here, but Bray Wyatt, and more, Styles takes his rightful place among WWE legends. Congratulations to AJ Styles on an incredible career and an amazing accomplishment. Now, one more thing I want to point out about AJ Styles' time in the ring last night. he did address the concerns that people brought up about not leaving his gloves in the ring at Royal Rumble. He said that the reason he didn't leave his gloves there is because he wanted to bring them with him and leave them at home. So he takes off the gloves, he takes off the vest, lays them out in the ring. Of course, the first thing Undertaker said to him, if you were watching the show, he walked up and looked down at the stuff. He goes, "You just going to leave that right there?" So now we have 2 Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2026. We have AJ Styles, who was informed publicly, and so the announcement was made to all of us. At the same time, he was told this by The Undertaker. Our other inductee is Stephanie McMahon, who was also very publicly informed, thus us getting the announcement that way, also by The Undertaker. So I'm not opposed to it. Just let me be clear now. Is that the plan for the 2026 season? Instead of the little vignettes like we normally get, are we going to have Taker showing up and announcing to them on television, "Hey, guess what? We're inducting you this year in the 2026 Hall of Fame"? That'd be fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun to watch him do that.
I agree. I think it is. You got to find something for him to do. It's the Undertaker, and he's never going to leave wrestling. So, hey, here's your job. Let's go ahead and announce, Hall of Fame people. I kind of like it. I dig it. It's not expected. It's not a basic vignette video. We'll get those the night of. I don't need to see him with the current cast because we know so much of them. So, I kind of appreciate what they're doing here. I think that is a cool little gig for Taker to do. I don't know about you, but I was not expecting a Hall of Fame induction Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. AJ Styles is worthy of that title, but, almost too fast that it happened, right? So this is where my question to you and the chat is AJ Styles done? Going to the Hall of Fame, leaving your gloves in Atlanta, hometown. I just don't see you going anywhere. And all the TNA guys coming down as well, right? The big speculation was he's going to TNA. He's going to have a match with Frankie. Frankie and his closest allies and foes came to Raw, right?
I'll be honest. I felt like there were 2 faces missing. One of them is currently under contract to a different company, so not surprised that he wasn't there. But I kind of was hoping Cena would be there for the farewell last night. But
yeah, he's got to be gone for a while. I mean, the Good Brothers showed up, like all kinds of people were there, right? And I really feel like, as watching this, I feel like this was the end for him. Maybe he is. At this point, a Hall of Fame induction. Clearly, he's going to be in contract with WWE until that day. That's how that works, right?
Yeah. Well, yes and no, as we'll discuss in another story coming up.
Yeah, but I mean, more than likely, not too many guys that are wrestling in another company is going to get inducted to WWE Hall of Fame. My point. If he was to go to AEW or TNA, I find it very hard to believe that he would be inducted that year into the Hall of Fame. I don't think would happen. With
the relationship with TNA, I'd say maybe. Slim chance, but maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the people that showed up, TNA wise, Abyss for fuck's sakes, right? We know he is. Chris is a producer, booker.
He might be a road agent, but I thought he was a producer.
I'm pretty sure he's a producer. He's a producer for sure. I see him on a lot of the Unreals and stuff like that. I don't know. I think the question here is, does AJ Styles go somewhere else? My answer is I do not believe he is going to. So I'd love to, hear the chat's opinion and yours on this. All that happened on Monday night really makes me believe that could be it.
And yes, it is producer or also referred to as a backstage agent is what he does right now. So
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely a producer. He does some really good matches. So props to him for sure.
yeah. One other note is Stephanie McMahon will be inducted by Undertaker, which leads me to wonder who will be doing the induction of AJ Styles. I mentioned another face that I really thought should have been there. He's under contract with the other company. In fact, if I remember correctly, he currently has a title with that company. He was very frequently involved in stories with AJ in TNA. They faced off, they teamed up, they worked together on occasion, and legitimately, I think AJ had some of his best matches with this guy. If they could get him, for me, that would be the ideal person to induct AJ at the Hall of Fame. But honestly, with everything being what it is, I don't see that happening. But that would be Samoa Joe. I could see it being Frankie Kazarian, though, because he also has a storied history with Frankie Kazarian.
I was going to say Frankie for sure could be a good possibility that it happens, or that would induct him, right? Samoa Joe would be great. I don't think that's going to happen. He's literally signed to the rival, right?
Right.
WWE is not that crazy, but I think, hell, you know what? It might be the Undertaker that's inducting every single fucking person at the Hall of Fame. Maybe that's another part of his gig, right?
Hey, maybe. You don't know. I mean, I did pull up the Wikipedia page for the Hall of Fame, and it does show Stephanie as being inducted by Taker, and it says AJ is TBA as far as who's inducting him. So
yeah, it'd be really interesting who inducts him.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I know a lot of times the way it works is when you're going into the Hall of Fame for the WWE, they let you, most of the time they'll let you pick who does your induction. Sometimes there's an exception, like who's the only person that made sense for inducting Mr. T, right? It's not like there was a plethora of people that, go ahead and pick one of these. It had to be somebody relevant to the business. And considering he couldn't keep his speech relevant to his speech, I don't think you let Mr. T pick. I think you have to tell him this is who's going to induct you. I like that idea. The problem is Daniels is currently doing work with AEW still. He was just on this week, I believe. That might have been on Ring of Honor, but either way, Daniels is still with AEW. So if Frankie Kazarian right now is the one that I think is most likely for it, but I think Christopher Daniels or Samoa Joe would probably be good choices if they could get them.
Well, we keep talking about ticket sales, right?
Yeah.
We got a Brock Lesnar match that's going to happen at Mania. That's clearly bringing him in to boost ticket sales. So why not bring in John Cena and induct AJ Styles, right? I mean, help boost some ticket sales for Mania. I don't know. I don't think it matters who it is. I think I'm still a little shocked how fast it happened. Like I said, he rightfully deserved no matter what. But it's like, holy shit, that just came out of nowhere. I was not expecting. I mean, who headlines at that? Steph, AJ Styles.
I think Steph's the headliner. I listen. Let me be clear before I say what I'm about to say. I think Steph has done amazing stuff for this business. I think Steph has helped shape it, mold it. I think she deserves the honor that she is about to receive. However, I think when we're talking about Steph and AJ should be your headliner, but I think it's going to be Steph.
I think we're both wrong.
You think we're both wrong?
I think so.
Who do you think the headliner will be then?
I mean, if someone's going to retire and get put into the Hall of Fame the same year as retiring, AJ Styles, fantastic, love it for him. there's nobody else on earth that's more deserving to be in the Hall of Fame as fast as John Cena, right?
I agree.
I
My understanding is that they were putting him off for now so that they could do Steph. And that's honestly part of the reason I was surprised that they decided to put AJ in this year, is because I figured with Steph, I agree. AJ is an icon. I agree with that 100%. But we're not the ones making these decisions. We're not the ones deciding who's going in when it's a show. And I honestly think that Stephanie McMahon is the one that's going to be the headliner. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether we agree with what's happening or not. I mean, did we agree when Gobbledygooker came out of that egg? No, we thought it should have been something bigger. Yeah, you weren't expecting something bigger. Come on, Baron. The thing is, it doesn't matter what we think, because I don't think Stephanie should be the headliner. I think she deserves an honor, but I think AJ, Cena, these are your headliners. And we're also still waiting on the promised Bray Wyatt headlining a Hall of Fame class. So, I mean, there's that. So, all right, let's move on real quick. The wrestlers of AJ's past did pay tribute on social media. Our next story comes from Fightful. Good Brothers, Eric Young, Frankie Kazarian, Chris Sabin, and more pay tribute to AJ Styles. WWE paid tribute to AJ Styles on Monday night's Raw, giving him a send-off in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, and announcing he would be inducted into the 2026 Hall of Fame. Frankie Kazarian, Abyss, Bobby Roode, the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows, and more showed up for the ceremony. On social media, more tributes rolled in for AJ from Frankie Kazarian. Nights like this go beyond any accolade one can achieve. Being there for my brother AJ Styles on an incredibly special night and reuniting with This Is TNA Brethren is something I will take with me forever and never let it go. Thank you to the WWE for making this happen. Matthew Rehwoldt, who you may remember as he was one half of the Vaudevillains. He's commentator for TNA now. Baron? Give me a second. I don't remember what his in-ring name was.
I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of his name. He said Baron. Oh, my bad. I didn't have that one on my bingo card that I pulled up.
No, he wasn't Simon Gotch. He was Aiden English. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Aiden English tweeted, "I feel so fortunate to have been able to share a locker room and even the ring a few times with AJ Styles, a guy who literally was an inspiration to me and my friends as wrestling fans coming of age and wanting to do this. Thank you, AJ." Chris Sabin, thank you, AJ Styles. Congratulations on a phenomenal career. Eric Young, one of my favorite people. And when Cornette first came to TNA, they had the somebody's getting fired story going on. And in between matches, they would have shots of Eric Young going through the audience with different picketing signs saying things like "Don't fire Eric Young" and stuff like that. I have been a fan of his ever since that, because it really showed his ability to make jokes, and we'd seen his serious side. Always been a fan of Eric Young. Quick note for AJ Styles. Thanks for all you have given our business. One of the very best to ever do it, period. Thanks for being an example of what a good person, good husband, good father, and a good man can be and never change, no matter your level of success. Carmelo Hayes said, "Thank you, AJ Styles, Hall of Fame, LFG, truly the untouchable one, no debating." TNA Wrestling's own Twitter account said, in the words of Mike Tenay in 2002, "Remember the name, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Styles. The future of our sport has arrived." Cody Diener says, "I've had the honor and privilege of tagging with AJ Styles, and I can say even after being in the ring with him on a small indie show back in the day, There is only one, AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Carl Anderson posted pictures now and then, 10 years. The picture that he shared for now is him, Luke Gallows, Shinsuke Nakamura, and AJ backstage. The one from 10 years ago was the WWE tweet that said, breaking are AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Machine Gun Carl Anderson, and Impact Doc coming to WWE, hashtag Bullet Club. And it was them back then. And damn, AJ really had soccer mom hair back then. DDP, I want to congratulate AJ Styles Oregon going to the WWE Hall of Fame. AJ is one of the greatest to ever do what we've done. What a great moment having Taker let you know you were going in. Looking back, this is one of my favorite memories of 27 years ago. AJ trying to get his copy of... I'm curious. I've got to know. I'm guessing it's DDP Yoga. His copy of Positively Page signed. You are truly one of the greatest, my friends. Congrats, brother. I am going to post this tweet in the Discord because it's hilarious. I don't remember seeing this before, but there's AJ trying to force his way through the line to get his signature.
He debuted in 1998.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's insane. I didn't realize it was 1998. I knew he's been around for a very long time, but
he's been in WWE too.
Yeah, very early on.
So
props. I mean, yeah, obviously well deserved for AJ Styles. Fantastic in the ring, outside the ring. It's gonna dude. This is gonna be the next full calendar year. We're gonna lose so many wrestlers, right?
All right. Yes. I have got to send you something. You have got to put this up.
Okay. Send it to me, and let's show and tell.
Oh my God. I have seen pictures of AJ from the early days, but holy hell, this is different.
Oh boy. And here we go, folks. This is what we're speaking about here.
Man, look how young they look there. That's Chris Sabin and AJ Styles. Wow.
What year was that?
By the way, thank you, Kat. I see that you messaged in the chat saying Aiden English. Let me see if he said when that was, because I don't know if
so long ago, Kat. So long ago.
Sabin did not say when that picture was taken. I'm going to guess
early 2000s, right?
That's an X Division title, I think. So yeah, that's got to be very early 2000s. What do the replies say?
Well, here's what we do. You take the picture, go to ChatGPT. What year was this photo from? ChatGPT says, thinking.
Yeah, it could be thinking
early 2000s.
And listen, I just want to say something real quick while you're doing that. If this is the cat that I think it is, I'm expecting a cactus to pop up in the chat at any time.
Okay.
Oh, you'll see. Yeah, look how young those two were. And that's Chris Sabin of the Motor City Machine Guns and AJ before he went soccer mom on us.
The old soccer mom.
All right, guys, let's continue talking about the Hall of Fame. Let's talk about a legend. This story comes to us from Fightful. Bronwyn Billington launches a petition to get her father. And before I read this person's name, Baron, do you know who Bronwyn Billington's father is?
Not a fucking clue.
The Dynamite Kid. inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Bronwyn wants her father to be honored by WWE. I'm going to be honest, I think the man should be honored. A petition was started on change.org by the daughter of the late Thomas Dynamite Kid Billington. Bronwyn Billington is calling for her father to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. She wrote the following in the description of the petition. The issue. Losing my father, known to the world as the Dynamite Kid, was one of the most challenging experiences of my life. As his eldest child, I carry his memory in my heart every day. His contributions to the world of wrestling were not only significant, but revolutionized the industry as a whole. Wrestling fans worldwide remember him not just as a performer, but as a pioneer who changed the face of the sport with his unique style and undeniable stage presence. The Dynamite Kid, born Thomas Billington, was a trailblazer in the wrestling industry, known for his technical prowess and high-flying moves. He was a major influence on countless wrestlers who followed in his footsteps. From his time at Stampede Wrestling in Canada to his unforgettable matches in Japan, and his remarkable run in the WWE as part of the British Bulldogs, my father undeniably left a mark on wrestling history. His contributions have been recognized by fans, sports writers, and wrestlers alike, making his exclusion from the WWE Hall of Fame a notable oversight. Many wrestling legends cite him as one of the best to ever step into the ring, and his influence is evident in the styles and approaches of numerous WWE Hall of Famers today. The WWE Hall of Fame serves as a way to honor those who have made lasting impacts on the sport. Inducting the Dynamite Kid will not only recognize his extraordinary contributions, but also fulfill the wishes of countless fans who have long awaited this honor for him. For many fans and family members, seeing him recognized posthumously would be a dream come true, offering a final tribute to a man who gave so much to the wrestling world. Please join me in calling on the WWE to honor the Dynamite Kid by inducting him into their Hall of Fame. Your signature can make all the difference, paying tribute to a legend who deserves a rightful place among wrestling's greatest figures. Sign the petition, let WWE know that Dynamite Kid's time for recognition has come. Dynamite Kid passed away on December 28th at the age of 60. His son, Tommy Billington, is signed to All Elite Wrestling and dons the Dynamite Kid nickname. Tommy is 24 years of age and was in action at the ROH taping in Oceanside, California on February 21st. And listen, I told you there'd be cactuses. I grew up watching the Hart Foundation and the Bulldogs. I grew up watching Matilda. I grew up watching the Wimbledon. SummerSlam 92 was phenomenal. And Dynamite Kid was huge part of the things I grew up watching. He is one of two names that I believe have been left out of the Hall of Fame for far too long. While I don't think he was quite as good as the other name, he was good. He deserves his spot. The other name is, of course, Owen, and the WWE has no control over whether he makes it into the Hall of Fame or not. That's on somebody else who I will not name at this time. But personally, I agree with this petition, and I think that WWE should induct him into the legacy class. Baron?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know of Dynamite Kid. I didn't, obviously early watching old wrestling, definitely watch stuff with him, and British Bulldog, and I mean, we all know his story, right, of what happened to him, how he kind of passed away, the road of that, which is very, very fucking tragic, right? Like, I don't even know how you begin to speak on that, right? I think there's a few things on the back outside of wrestling that's kind of going to hinder him being there. I do know, at least a tag team of the Bulldogs or something along those lines would be helpful. But I think there's I don't want to make allegations here, but I'm pretty positive. Reading years ago, he's accused of abuse, not just drug abuse, other things along those lines, right? And we all do know he definitely had a very hard life, getting injured, being on drugs prior to being injured. There's a lot of factors I think that's kind of hindering him away from that Hall of Fame, right? But like being put in as a tag team with the Bulldogs, I think that's great. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we're not understanding with the Hart family, right? I know Bulldogs is different from that, but I feel like they still have somewhat, oversight on that. I wish everyone could be in the Hall of Fame. This is the time of the year where everybody's going to be mentioned that needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I wish they all can. You can only put Triple H in there so many fucking times. You can only can only put Ric Flair in there so many times. Like, these are spots people should, like this, be taken. I just think there's some backstage politics happening here, for sure.
Well, and I do want to make a couple of quick points. Davey Boy's in the Hall of Fame, and we know that he also had a drug problem. We know that. The other thing I want to point out on the subject of the drug problem is back in the day, and you can read about this in Brett's book or multiple books that are out there. It's not just Brett that talks about it. Back in the day, it was accepted practice that you would see a line of wrestlers outside the doctor's office at the venue, and they would be lined up to get a bag full of drugs, mostly painkillers. And this is how a lot of people, and steroids were in those bags too. This is how a lot of people ended up on those drugs. They were pushed on them by management to still be able to go out there and do the show. And so as far as the drug side of it goes, I can't bring myself to fully blame Dynamite for the drug issues, because that's
the drug abuse stain is totally obsolete at this point in juncture. The
other thing I was going to say though is one of the things that I know he suffered from was CTE. We've talked a lot about concussion protocol and the things that are associated with that. I'm not even going to mention the name of the most famous CTE incident involving the WWE in our generation. But when your brain takes that kind of damage, it alters your personality. And I'm not defending his abusive behavior, not one bit. I'm simply saying that I do believe that his CTE may have contributed to that. Contributed. Not was the sole cause of, but contributed.
Yeah, totally agree. I just feel like there's so many other things here, right? Like, and I wish you never brought up the drug abuse, but also because, fuck, dude. We've all been there at some point or know someone, and that's a fucking very hard struggle to get anybody through. I could speak on it for hours upon hours from the field I work in, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of people very deserving of being into the Hall of Fame, right? Does Dynamite Kid top my personal list? Definitely not. I feel like the Hall of Fames over the last few years have really stirred away from like old-time greats anyways. I feel like we've gotten people that have left in the last 10 years that are more noticeable for TV appearances, right? There's just so many people that should be in the Hall of Fame that are not in the Hall of Fame. You mentioned Bray Wyatt earlier. There's so many people. Sure, I'll sign the petition to help out, but it's just, it only gets us so far.
Right. That's fair. All right. Last night, we saw our final two qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber. Raquel Rodriguez overcame Kyrie and Io, and Jey Uso won the men's qualifier. Based on something that happened during the match and his initial reaction immediately after the match, I'm wondering if that was originally how this was supposed to go, or if things changed mid-match. The match was Jey versus El Grande Americano Original versus Bronson Reed. However, it would end up However, it would end up being Jay versus El Grande Americano Original, still under triple threat rules. That's important to remember. When Bronson Reed appeared to suffer a bicep injury, I've seen reports that he might be out indefinitely. From Yahoo, Bronson Reed appears to suffer injury during Elimination Chamber qualifier on WWE Raw. The unfortunate injury bug may have hit the Vision even further on Raw Monday, as it looked as though Bronson Reed suffered an injury in the Elimination Chamber qualifier match where he was facing the original Grande Americano and Jey Uso. During the match, Reed was seen outside of the ring being checked on by a doctor, and commentary noted that he seemed to be pointing at his bicep. As of the writing of this article, which was yesterday at just before, well, that can't be. I suppose if that match was early enough in the night. This says almost 7 o'clock Mountain. But during the match, Reed was seen outside the ring, checked on the doctor. Commentary noted he seemed to be pointing at his bicep. As of this writing, there is no official word by WWE on if Reed is officially injured. Uso advanced to the chamber match following the possible injury to Reed. If he is hurt, he would be the third member of the division to suffer an injury in recent months. Back in October, the original leader of the group, Seth Rollins, suffered a shoulder injury during his match with Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. He was stripped of the World Heavyweight Championship and written off television by stablemate Braun Breaker. At the beginning of February, Breaker was forced off the road after suffering a serious hernia, which required surgery. If Reed is injured, it leaves Austin Theory and Logan Paul alongside Paul Heyman going into WrestleMania. So
was the Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar segment after the Reed match? I don't remember. My brain is foggy. Maybe that was a quick pivot. Obviously it wouldn't be a quick pivot. Brock wouldn't have showed up for that. But I mean, the Vision is done. Has to be, right? With all these people being injured,
I don't
especially
know.
leading up to Mania, and the Masked Man. Like, where do we go from here now?
Well, clearly the Masked Man is not going to be going after Bronson Reed now.
Clearly, I think. But I have seen multiple reports say that he is out indefinitely.
And it does look like, so the first match of the night was the triple threat match, and then
Brock and Paul came much later.
Liv's interview where she picked her opponent, Maxine versus Natty. Maxine got knocked out last night, so Natty won that by referee stoppage.
I wish we didn't mention that. That was very okay.
Then we did the Judgment Day segment. We did the Rusev Obafemi segment, and then Brock and Heyman came out. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact dates of when everyone's supposed to return or anything along those lines, but just like Smash said in the Vision's having a rough 2026. Clearly not seeing the Vision. But I have a feeling this is going to make it a very lackluster fucking Mania for these groups. People.
I'm pretty sure Seth and Braun will be back in time for WrestleMania.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just it's going to be a very, very put together something match, right? I don't know. It's just very fucking unfortunate with everybody going out. And when I watched that back, Reed, I obviously I'm not in the ring to like determine that shit, but like, it just looks like he barely touched the fucking person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to pull tricep though, right? I don't know.
I had looked away from the TV. Actually, I was watching it on my phone. I looked away from the phone, was doing something on the computer, and when I looked back, they were already standing over him outside the ring.
Yeah, it wasn't a clip that you could visually see that, oh yeah, shit. But I do agree. I don't think Jey Uso was going to win. Yeah, I think Reed was going to win. I don't think he was going to win chamber match, but I think that's when the Masked Man was going to come out and fuck him over.
Yeah. The look on Jey Uso's face after he won the match was kind of what tipped me off that maybe the plan wasn't for him to win the match. Because he kind of looked like he was upset about winning, which was weird because you're going to the chamber. You have a chance of going back to Mania to face off for probably Drew's title, but that's beside the point. Why do you look disappointed?
Well, I mean, he's the tag team champion.
Well, right, but I mean,
But then that, you know, like that strays them away from the tag titles in a sense. I mean, he's being pulled away from his brother, and I think those two need each other more than anybody will ever fucking mention, by the way.
kind of like Nikki needs Brie to be successful.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree. So like, and I think the Usos are coming, you know, they're coming back to their old ways in a sense, right? And yeah, I'm not over, you know, super thrilled that Jey Uso went over in that match.
Right. All right. Let's talk about a video game. 2K26 is coming out soon, and not everyone made the cut. This next story comes to us from Fightful. Kelly reacts to WWE 2K26 exclusion. Kelly reacts to her WWE 2K26 snub. The full roster for WWE 2K26 was revealed on Monday, February 23rd. Despite signing a Legends deal with WWE back in 2025, Kelly did not make it into this year's game, which features over 400 superstars. Taking to social media, the former Divas champion talked about starting a petition to get herself into the game, and I think she's kidding. Well, another year not in WWE games. Should we start a petition or what? Kelly hasn't been included in a wrestling game since WWE 2013, which hit shelves in November of 2012.
Well, you know, WWE releases a lot of DLC content, a lot of packages. There's a good chance you still make it into the game, Kelly. Is there going to be 400 people as soon as the game comes out, or are we talking 400 people throughout the time this game is out from DLCs and shit?
I think 400 is including the DLCs and stuff, and I think that's why it says that the full roster has been revealed, and she's not on it.
Well, the one thing that WWE does very well in game is create a wrestler. And you can always download skins and copies of every single wrestler that's not in the game and implement them into the game. So I'm sure Kelly will have 5,000 skins out there. People will put her in the game that way, right? Yeah, sorry, Kelly. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to Baron's buzzkill.
Another buzzkill? I feel like I'm killing the buzz at all times.
Well, I haven't given you a buzzkill yet tonight. The next story is yours. So you've gotten raises at your jobs, right? Well, not everyone got one. It seems WWE may have skipped giving one of their most well-known stars a raise. From Fightful, Dustin Rhodes says he never got a raise in WWE. Dustin Rhodes famously portrayed the character of Goldust during the late 90s before bouncing around from WCW to TNA and eventually back to WWE. He is now with AEW, and Goldust is a distant memory for him. When a fan online asked for him to return to WWE as Goldust, Dustin replied, "Nope, I never got a raise there. What, you want me sitting on the bench doing nothing? That ain't me anymore. I have done the best work of my career with AEW. I love the character Goldust, but he ran its course. I did what I was told, and it got me nowhere. No thanks." Dustin Rhodes is currently on the mend after undergoing double knee replacement surgery in August. Rhodes was one half of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions with Sammy Guevara and 1/3 of the Ring of Honor Six-Man Tag Championships with the Von Erichs, Marshall Von Erich and Ross Von Erich, at the time of his surgery. Both titles were vacated as a result of his absence. Dustin Rhodes signed a new 6-year deal with AEW in late 2024. And Baron, I'm going to turn this one over to you and let you just run wherever you want with it.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely don't go back to where you never got a pay raise, right? Like, what's the point of working at a company like that? But I think Goldust got paid pretty fucking fancy over there, so let's not get it twisted. And what was it, $400,000 he made in the year?
I don't remember seeing that in the article, but I'm going to look it up.
Look it up. I mean, I could be totally off page. I think I was searching that just a minute ago. That was up on top of that list there, but I imagine that that's maybe not accurate. But he has a net worth $3 million. Imagine most of that came from WWE. I do have to agree with him though. His best body of work has come from AEW. I think it's been a pretty fucking solid run for him over there. AEW, ROH, all that shit. You know, Goldust was just one of those characters that unfortunately was that our truth kind of character, right? Like kind of like over time became the funny character and everything else. Early on, Goldust I thought was fantastic. But yeah, obviously, you know, never say never in wrestling, but I would imagine at some point in juncture he'll be back over there, especially if his brother's over there. As good as his run in AEW has been, it still hasn't made any sense to me, and I will always see him fucking in gold. And nothing will ever change my mind on that.
So I'm not really finding something that says how much he made. 400,000 could be right. I don't know. But I did find this Reddit thread. Somebody did the initial post. It says, I did some research and I found that Goldust, who was hired by WWE a whopping 6 times, is the most rehired superstar in history. And somebody that commented on that said, and I think Marty Jannetty was fired more times in the WWE. So, yeah, that's kind of true. I think Marty was fired quite a few times by the WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I could send this article over to you. This is from top 25 salaries of WWE superstars, and this was backdated from 2015. You know, a time period where I'm sure Goldust was in WWE, correct? You know, I don't know how much we want to put stock in if this was accurate or not. I feel like it's not, but nonetheless, you know, it's there. He's number 14 on the list at a whopping $725,000. Again, I don't believe that's accurate, but you got to remember he had a very long career in WWE, so I imagine he was getting paid pretty fucking fancy. But yeah, man, he's a WWE fucking hater. He's always got he always wants something to say about them. But be where you're happy. If you're not getting a pay raise, don't ever go back there.
Well, and I would imagine that this is annually too.
Yeah, so it would be a salary for sure. And I did, like I said, there's probably a good chance that's not. But
I mean, it's possible that that's what he made cumulatively for all the whole. I don't know. I don't know that. I've heard things about salaries being low, and I've heard that people like Goldust actually made decent money in WWE. So.
Yeah, that's exactly that's kind of where I'm at with that. So I mean, I'm sure he's getting paid way more in AEW. I think every single fucking star that's ever going over there is getting paid more than any other promotion they've ever been in because that's what they do.
Yeah. All right. Of all the people in AEW, we do happen to like MJF. So how about we do 2 stories on him tonight, called our AEW segment. Up first from Fightful, MJF wants to do an action comedy film with John Cena. I think that's going to happen, he says. MJF wants to star in a movie with John Cena, since entering the world of film in a big way with his debut in Happy Gilmore 2. Friedman has continued to rack up new roles. As of published time, MJF has 2 films in post-production, Violent Night 2 and Stranglehold. Speaking with Self-Made Pro for a new interview, MJF noted that he wants to lead an action comedy with John Cena at some point down the road. I want an MJF John Cena two-hander at some point, truly. I think that is going to happen. I'm manifesting that in my head. I think an action comedy with me and him would be next level. 2026 will also be a busy year for Cena, as films like Coyote vs. Acme, Matchbox the movie, and Little Brother are all set to release. So, you know what? I thought he was pretty good in Happy Gilmore too, but the role was also kind of written for him because that's what Adam does.
Yeah, and he didn't really have much to say in that. It was more gruntal, like, oh, but he was good in it for sure. I think he's definitely a person that could be an actor, right?
Yeah, I think he would. Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you here.
If you're going to say if Hulk Hogan can be in a movie,
nope.
Okay.
Nope. I was going to go with Batista, actually. I got to be honest, when Batista first stepped into the acting world, I didn't know what to expect. I thought that we were going to see some just really bad stuff. But I don't know about you guys. I really enjoyed My Spy. I think Batista is hilarious as Drax. And I think MJF's even better in his acting. I think that this could be a fun little step for him to go work with John Cena in a movie. And I think I would enjoy that movie personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it would be, I mean, people are, when they talk about Batista in movies, they forget he is in one of the biggest movie franchises of all time, Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I think
Drax,
exactly. I think he's been higher grossing movies than John Cena and probably The Rock combined, to be frank. But I agree. I think it's really interesting though, because MJF could be one of those breakout movie stars. He definitely could be. That's never paved his way in WWE. That's more fascinating to me to think about, because what other wrestler out there has done that without having the backbone of WWE around them?
The last time I think we saw something similar was actually back in the WCW era.
Ready to Rumble, everybody in WCW was in that. That doesn't count.
Great movie, though. Damn it.
I loved it. I love that movie. I will watch that every time that ever pops up on my TV.
I went one step further. I own the DVD. It's right there.
I think I looked for the DVD years ago. I mean, obviously, I had the VHS or whatever it was on when it first came out. I have no clue where it went. But Amazon and a lot of apps have all that good shit on there. But I do believe he would be. I'm not sure who else you're thinking.
I'm pretty excited with MJF. I'm pretty happy with him. And let's follow that up with also from Fightful. MJF, I don't think I want to be in a stable ever again. MJF doesn't want to be in a stable again. Throughout his time in AEW, Friedman has been involved in a number of factions like Inner Circle, The Pinnacle, and the Hurt Syndicate. Many fans will argue that MJF's stints with those groups never reached their full potential. Speaking with Self-Made Pro for a new interview, the current AEW World Champion revealed that he doesn't want to be in a faction ever again. I don't think I ever want to be in a stable again. I think what makes me special is the fact that I'm one of the few people in All Elite Wrestling that can stand 10 toes down alone by himself and be the most interesting actor on the show. I don't need to rely on others. Every word of that is true, by the way. So, and listen, we have made it clear that we are fans of MJF here. I've always enjoyed his work. I enjoy his interactions on Twitter. I enjoy the fact that this man is one of the few in the business that completely sticks to kayfabe as much as he does. Even to the point that when he tweets about his family, he's still the heel talking about his family. Most notably is the "I would wish my mom a happy Mother's Day, but she's a hoe, so why bother?" However he worded it, I thought that was great. That he was on social media still being the bad guy, and I definitely enjoy watching him work, and I completely agree with the fact that he is one of the few people in AEW that can stand 10 toes down alone by himself and be the most interesting act on the show. I think that's 100% true. And he is the one thing that I find interesting right now on AEW.
He's the only thing I've found interesting on AEW for how long have they been around?
I believe 2019.
He's the only reason I would watch it. He's unfortunately in that character that I could say if he went to a WWE, he would help elevate that, make the product be even bigger. If they allow him to do what he does in AEW with his mic work and what he does and says, he's a star no matter where he's going to be. So, yeah, he definitely is holding his own. But unfortunately, on that roster, he's in a league of his own.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that is only going to get you so far, right? I think he would benefit heavily being in WWE. And they could definitely change the game over there for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. When he was off TV for so long, I'm pretty sure his contract came up for negotiation. And I was really thinking that he might just leave AEW at that point and go WWE, and then he came back to AEW television. So
with the black leather jacket and the very big spray tan, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. All right, guys, our last story of the night also comes to us from Fightful, and it's about New Japan Pro Wrestling. Rocky Romero says he's re-signed with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Rocky wears many hats in the world of pro wrestling, from an on-screen talent to working behind the scenes as a liaison between AEW, CMLL, and NJPW. Speaking to Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live, Romero revealed he recently re-signed with NJPW. "I just re-signed with New Japan. I'm still working at CMLL. I took a little break. Going back and forth was killing me a little bit. I took a little break, but I should be back in the next couple of weeks," he said. Romero will not be in action at New Japan New Beginning USA on Friday in New Jersey, but did help arrange the lineup. On AEW TV, Rocky Romero is part of the Don Callis family, so I guess that means that this story was also an AEW story. So, Baron, I'd like to apologize to you for making this so AEW heavy at the end. I feel bad, but I felt like Rocky Romero returning to NJPW was big enough news that we should talk about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's been around for how long has he been around?
Well, long enough that they let him put together the lineup for the
1997. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, he's been around a very long time. That's a household name for anybody that's watched it for years. He's fantastic. I have really fallen off of New Japan. As I think a lot of other people have. So I think this could help them big time.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially because he is who he is. I mean, he's very well known for his backstage work and his in-ring work. The fact that he could help put a lineup together for a USA show of all things that's his value is astronomical in my opinion. So, all right, guys, you have patiently waited all show for this. It is time for Baron and I to do our picks for Elimination Chamber. And then I think the coffee has run through me, so I have to run away.
I'm just so glad that you talk, so I have my opportunity to run away.
Yeah, I clicked back over from reading the whatever story it was, and I was like, "Oh, Baron's not there. All right, I think I can ramble."
You know
for a
what
little
goes
bit
through
longer."
faster than coffee?
Beer.
Oh yeah.
All right, first match we're gonna do picks for is the men's elimination chamber match. Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, ya boy Bouncy, Trick, or Jey Uso.
Fuck. You know, this is a tough one, man. How I view it, do we see a Cody Rhodes not headlining a night on Mania? I don't think so. I think you have to have him there. This is again another match that other title match could fall into a triple threat some way. I'm making a safe bet because I don't like to lose. I'm going with Cody Rhodes on this match. He definitely has something to prove against Drew McIntyre. They've been going at it forever. The dark horse sleeper. Who I want to win is LA Knight. I think he's very well fucking deserved to win this. Should win this. Not going to win this. They're going to do the safe bet of Cody Rhodes. They're going to have to sell more tickets. Cody Rhodes will help that. So, yeah, I got to go with Cody on this one.
Listen, I'm not going to argue. I would love to see LA Knight win this. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have the women's elimination chamber match. You got Tiffy versus Rhea versus Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Kiana versus Raquel Rodriguez.
This is one I'm okay if I get wrong here. I'm going with Raquel here. I think none of those matches. So Tiff does not have to win this to face Jade if booked properly, right?
I agree.
She could face Jade without winning this match if Raquel wins, which I think almost has to happen to make sense and interfere with Liv Morgan in that title match. Booking wise, this makes sense. I just, Alexa, no. Rhea, no.
Hey,
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a huge Alexa Bliss fan. I would love to see her win this. I don't think it's happening.
And then Charlotte Flair. What's going on with her?
Nothing for Elimination Chamber. Although, I will make this prediction. I am pretty sure Alexa is not winning Elimination Chamber. I am pretty sure Rhea Ripley is not winning the Elimination Chamber. I am almost positive it's not going to be Asuka either, which leaves those three and their tag partners available for a triple threat or fatal four-way match at WrestleMania for the tag titles.
I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for almost a year now. Judgment Day has to end. I think we're getting that already happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Finn Balor kind of separating himself from that pack. It's going to be gone. And I think Raquel and Liv being put in that match with Stephanie is because Stephanie and Liv one-on-one just doesn't make sense.
Right. And I think Raquel is caught in a custody battle type of situation.
She is. I mean, this is the modern day Shawn Michaels and Diesel. And I think the best way to squash it out is obviously a match, and Stephanie has the title.
Really? That's the example you went with for this is a modern day?
Sure.
Because I think I would have said this is a modern day Ray versus Eddie for custody of Dom.
But Raquel doesn't have any emotion towards Dom. Right?
No. In this scenario,
I get what you're saying, though.
Roxanne would be Dom in this scenario.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So is Raquel the pappy or is Liv the pappy? We're going to find out.
It's true. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Raquel for sure is going to be my pick on this match. It's going to make a lot of people upset, and I'm all for it.
Listen, like I said before, it makes sense. So, up next, we have Becky Lynch versus AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental title.
No way AJ Lee signed with the company and not carrying a title to Mania. I'm going AJ Lee.
Interesting.
Continue that feud into Mania. AJ and Becky. Let's have another fucking match. Fuck it. But in order to do that, AJ's got to take the belt away from Becky. So continue what's going on because Becky's killing it. I love Becky. I love her character. I love the heel version of Becky and the current heel version of Becky, right? We talked about it earlier on the show with the tweets and everything else. Like, she's doing great shit right now. So, but in order to have that a big marquee match, AJ's got to win that belt, carry it to Mania, and have Becky, those two face off.
I was going to go with AJ anyway, but let me say this. I think the best way to do this is after AJ wins, you have her come out and talk about it on Raw, right? And then I think Becky comes out and in her unhinged state, she demands that AJ give her a rematch, and AJ just looks at her and goes, "No, don't feel like it. Leave the ring, skip to the back. Becky can come unglued in the ring, whatever, but that's the extent of the interaction that night." I think you really needle home the meltdown of Becky for a little longer before AJ accepts the rematch. So, and that will bring us to the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk versus Finn Balor. And if it's not the Demon, I don't want
it. It's not going to be the Demon. Or fuck, that might be who's in the box. Who knows? There's no way in hell CM Punk is losing this title and Finn Balor's taking that title to Mania to face Roman. Not a chance in fucking hell WWE would ever do. If they did that, let's talk about 14,000 more tickets not being sold for Mania. Right? CM Punk and Roman Reigns is your marquee headlining. That is what's going to, create ticket sales. I love Finn Balor. I feel like this is his last kind of little run before he's pushed out of WWE. I love him. I think he's great, fantastic. This is just a filler match. So CM Punk has a match on this card because he didn't last card. So yeah, I'm going to definitely go with CM Punk. I also feel like some shenanigans are going to happen in this match. Some interference or something along those lines is going to happen.
JD.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Judgment Day for sure. But I think this is the big moment where if that happens, Finn Balor gets fucked over by them, and then we move on to him in a match at Mania, separating himself with them.
Let me ask you your opinion on this. Do we have it be an intentional fuck over, or is it accidental? Like they try to help, but they fucked him over.
It's accidental, but this is now so many accidental fuckovers for Finn Balor. This is his breaking point where it's Becky Lynch 2.0 time. Let him go on rants, cut promos, do whatever social media, and break away from him. I think, yeah.
Okay.
I still feel like there's one thing missing from this entire puzzle with Judgment Day. Nobody touched base on, and that's Liv Morgan and Finn Balor. There's always been something there that they've hinted towards that nothing has ever been resolved about that. But I'll leave it at definitely CM Punk.
So here's a possibility. JD and Dom accidentally fuck over Finn in this match, right? And you're talking possible full-blown Becky Lynch level meltdown. What if this leads to he decides he needs to get some aggression out? He says, "You cost me my title, JD McDonough or Dom, doesn't matter. I want to face you, blah, blah, blah." And what we get is actually the demon that night. Like, this spirals him into the demon for that match.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I would love to see the demon.
Yeah. All right, let me run through my picks real quick. I told you guys earlier in the show, spoiler alert, I was picking Punk to win this match. That hasn't changed. Nothing throughout the show has given me any reason to go with Balor over Punk in this. I think the WrestleMania main event is intact, despite the, oh, we're so worried about what's going to happen to the main event at WrestleMania. I think we're fine. I also want, look, I have made it clear for a lot of years that I like the crazy ones. Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee, Daphne. Oh, I miss her. But Daphne was one of my all-time favorite pro wrestlers. And it's because she's crazy. Nikki Cross is way up there because she's nuts. So Becky Lynch is in the middle of a full meltdown and she is going crazy, but I don't think she's quite AJ Lee crazy just yet. But I was excited when they made this match for the title. I want to see AJ with another title run. I want her to be able to rub that in Nikki Bella's face and go, look, I got a singles title and you didn't. So yeah, I've got AJ going over in this match. While I think there is a chance that the WWE cops out on us and goes the easy route on the Women's Elimination Chamber match, we have been talking for like 2 weeks about the possibility of Raquel winning this and turning the main event with Liv and Stephanie into a triple threat. And I've been on board this whole time. And I think that if WWE wants to tell the compelling story coming out of the Women's Elimination Chamber match, that's the way to go. I am picking Raquel because I want the compelling story. I would not be surprised that WWE takes the easy way out and puts Tiffy over, but I want the compelling story, so I picked Raquel. As far as the Men's Elimination Chamber match, I have bounced around between RKO, Cody, and Trick because I could see Trick getting the push now. As soon as Carmelo was out of his way, boom, titles. And right now, Carmelo is doing U.S. title stuff, which leaves Trick open to go after the main title. So I could feasibly see him winning it. I could see RKO getting another title run before. I mean, they've been hinting at it since he returned, 2 years ago, and told Rhea Ripley, or told them to tell Rhea that Daddy's back. And they've been hinting at this for a while. So I could see him winning this. But I think what finally decided it for me, because Cody was also one of the ones I could see winning this, I think what finally decided it for me was something you said tonight. Do I see this WrestleMania not having a Cody Rhodes presence in the main event? And you're right. Not having Cody Rhodes in the main event this year feels wrong. It doesn't feel like that's the right way to go. So at the end of the day, we have matched up on all of our answers because you're the one that convinced me that it's Cody that's winning.
Now, real quick, though, the only thing that could change, and we didn't hint towards it or talk about it tonight, is whatever is in that fucking box, right? It's either going to be a dud or it could be a debut or a return of someone or whatever the case may be. And that could change the outcome of this match, right? This could be if it's a person debuting or returning, I think it's going to be a big star, and the first person they're going to put up against that big star is Cody Rhodes to give LA Knight a chance to do the title thing, right? But that really depends on that box, and I feel like that's going to be introduced during this match, and we'll find out then. Again, it may be fucking absolutely nothing or nobody, but that is the only chance Cody Rhodes loses this because it just doesn't make sense unless they have another big star that could help headline a WrestleMania. That's the only thing I had thought of. before we did the show. I was like, if it's, I'm throwing this name out there. Don't judge me. If it's a Chris Jericho, you throw Chris Jericho up against Cody Rhodes. That's an easy headlining type of match. If it's not, then it definitely Cody Rhodes wins. I don't know. It's just I might be overthinking that stuff, but the box stain really could shift a lot of this.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And to be clear, I don't think this is who it's going to be, but this is just my example of how many times WWE has let us down on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be it was me, Austin type of reveal where it's something similar to the Vince McMahon coming out from under the mask. I'd like to have faith that we're actually going to get something fun this time, something worth our time. But experience tells me it's going to be a letdown.
Yeah, I mean, it has been leaked though, right? Who it is?
Danhausen is unfortunately still on the AEW roster. What's been leaked?
Well, continue. Give me a couple moments here. But there was, a full leakage of what is supposed to be happening here. And it's already kind of been. Picture's already been developed for it, but this is pretty much it right here, folks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once again, we got another new era starting in WWE. Yeah, totally.
There it is, folks. That is our big reveal. Triple H to take the fucking limelight once more. Goddamn you, Trips. But it's going to be very interesting what happens, and I think that could really shift some things. But those are solid picks. Of course, you're going to pick like me.
This time, I don't always pick like you. I go where I think that the pick should be, and tonight you made a good point on Cody, and everything else I had already picked prior to our conversation about it. Well, prior to us doing picks at the end of the night. Because when I was doing the card rundown earlier, that's when I was kind of cementing what I was picking on most things. So, all right, guys, I think that's going to do it for the Ramblers Unleashed tonight. I do want to thank those of you that were in the chat tonight. Kat, Sean, J-Bone, Mr. Destroying Kayfabe, wherever the hell you are at this point. I'm guessing you went to bed because you're an old man. And this whole time we thought it was J-Bone that was the old man. Can you believe that?
It was Styles all along.
It was me, Max Styles, all along. Styles. So I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. This has been our Ramblination Chamber preview show. And I don't know what I have going on this weekend, but if I am available after Elimination Chamber and Baron wants to do a review, I will.
It's that fucking night, so you never know, because these WWE midday, early day PLEs, I say fuck, absolutely not. Obviously the weather, I think it's supposed to be gorgeous, so it could be but if it's later and you're free, I'm down to do something.
Let's see what happens, and we'll let you guys know Saturday if we're gonna do a review. But thank you guys for tuning in. Baron, how can they find you?
You already know. Scumbag Jordan with 3 ends.
You can follow me at Max Mages. You can follow the podcast at the Ramblers Pod. Find us on Facebook. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please hit the like button. If you aren't already subscribed, consider subscribing and hit that little bell icon there to be notified when we go live. Now get out of here, go watch some wrestling, and let J-Bone
smash
take another
this. Oh, wait, hit the like button.
I did. I just went over and hit the like button.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.